Hey y'all, welcome to the Team LocoFit Roundtable, hosted by me, Lauren Conlon, owner of Team LocoFit. Each week, I am joined by one of our coaches to dive headfirst into the nutrition, training, mindset, and coaching strategies we use with our clients. If you loved the show, please subscribe, leave us a review, tell a friend, you know the drill. And for more information about coaching, the programs we offer, and additional content, visit teamlocofit.com. All right, y'all, I'm back this week with a new podcast, and I'm so excited for our guest. She's one of my really great friends. She's who I call the skincare queen, Racquel Frisella. So thank you so much for joining us, Racquel.
Thank you so much for having me on. When you asked me, I was super excited and very honored. So thank you.
Yes, and so every time I go to First Form and go to St. Louis, typically I see you. Obviously, we're friends, and you've helped me so much with my skincare over the years, and to the point where people notice and compliment it actually all the time. And it's actually like, it's not like I had really, really bad skin before, right? Like it wasn't like I had this, normal acne, normal kind of stuff, but it's just gotten so much exponentially better. And really this year, actually, I've stopped wearing makeup. I mean, I'm wearing it right now, and I love like wearing like lots of makeup, like if I want to go to like dinner or go out or something. But on my day to day, like I've actually reduced my makeup so much. And I would say that the skincare has really made that possible. Like makeup is great and like I love it and it accentuates things, but like it is really nice to just be able to like walk out with like a fresh face and
Totally.
feel
I feel
confident.
the same way. And I think a lot of people, especially this year, 2020, are feeling the same way just because obviously the social calendar is pretty empty, but also people are wearing masks, and wearing the makeup under the mask is gross. And you kind of think, why put this whole face on when I have to take this mask on and off? And so I think skin confidence is a huge thing just in general, but especially right now. And more than ever, I have been helping so many women just achieve their best skin, just so that exactly what you said, just for a lifestyle, for feeling good about yourself, just being able to wake up, throw some tinted moisturizer on, whatever it is, leave your house and not feel insecure about your skin, or just feeling your best, So taking care of your skin is just, for me, and what I practice is just one little part of self-care. And, with my field of being in aesthetics in general, a lot of people used to, not so much anymore, just think of this all as like vanity or skincare, Botox, whatever. But really, it's just like, getting your hair done or painting your fingernails. It's a part of taking care of yourself. And when I always say, when you feel good in your skin and, look good, feel good mentality, that kind of translates into every arena of your life. So I know exactly what you mean. Feeling good in your skin is the best feeling, and it takes work and it takes commitment to the process and using the right things. And so hopefully I can help you all with that.
Yeah, so I did have, I gathered some questions from some people, and then also just questions that I had that I thought would be great to share. But first, give a little bit about your background first, just so people do know.
Yeah, so I am a nurse practitioner and I specialize in aesthetics. I have been in this industry for about 12 years now. And for the last 10 years, I've been in practice with Mike Nyack. He is a facial plastic surgeon. We're based out of St. Louis, Missouri. He's a world-renowned facial plastic, and I'm super honored to be by his side. But I absolutely love what I do. I got into nursing just in general. When I first became a nurse, I was a neonatal nurse, and I'm a nurturer. I love taking care of people. I love helping people. And then growing up, I've always loved all things beauty my whole life. Since I can remember when I was in high school, I would be the friend where we're all in the bathroom and I'm doing everyone's hair and makeup before we go out, like my whole life. Always into beauty products, always into all that kind of fun stuff. And so then my two worlds just kind of collided when I found out about aesthetic nursing, and that was a thing. And when I first started on this journey about 12 years ago, it was not as popular as it is today. It was much more taboo. People would be like, Botox, whoa, that's like horrible, and it was just such a lack of education and social awareness. And I'm very thankful how far we've come over the last 12 years. But today in my practice, I focus heavily on injectables and skincare. So I have done and do still perform other things like microneedling and lasers, cool sculpting, all kinds of body and face treatments. But over the last couple of years, I've gotten really busy. I'm very thankful. I have a great client base that I love. And so I focus mostly on skincare and injectables now. And then over the last couple of years, I actually started bringing some of my practice virtual online. I was finding women from all over the country would reach out and say like, oh, I wish you could help me with my skin, but I'm not in St. Louis. And so then it just kind of sparked this whole thing where I can only do so much, but what I can offer online, I love to. So skincare, which we're talking about today, is the biggest one. And I do virtual skin assessments. I can basically look at your skin, learn about your skin, and then help you come up with a plan and a skincare regimen that would best suit your skin and your goals, wants and needs, with the same products that I use in office, and then I'm able to ship nationwide. So that's been really fun. I've loved extending my reach just to women like all over the country versus just in my local arena. So I love what I do. It's really fun. It's much more than just vanity or skincare, Botox. I love seeing a woman walk in my office one way and walk out feeling a whole nother way, and just picking people up and helping them feel like their best self. It's my passion.
Yeah, and you're amazing at it. And I know that I've obviously benefited so much from the products, and so many people that I personally know who have, used the consulting services.
Yeah.
So let's dive right in. Super pumped about this. So somebody's brand new to skincare, right? Like they know very little. Where should they start? And like, what are the things that might be like the waste of money? So like top kind of things to go towards and stay away from.
Totally. So what I usually start with is explaining to the patient about medical grade skincare and what is it and what's the difference. So when you want to really invest in your skin and take care of your skin, medical grade skincare is by far going to be the best option, because medical grade skincare contains the most active ingredients. So if it's medical grade, it can only be sold by a healthcare provider like a doctor, a nurse practitioner, a nurse, or esthetician. And it contains the most potent, most active ingredients. So not that things out there at the beauty stores are all bad, but when you go into a store like Sephora, or even the drugstore, and you pick up what they would consider their retinol that's on the counter, if you look what's in it, it's filled with a bunch of fillers. So it might be a little retinol and a bunch of other random stuff. So that just dilutes the product down. It's not as effective. And then there's also a higher chance of just reacting to the product, having issues with it, because there's just a lot of times it's botanicals and fragrances and things that just irritate people. So when you're looking at medical grade, the products are totally less is more. There's less ingredients in them because they're just your most pure active form of these products. So quality is everything. So just like anything in life, you pay for what you get. It's going to be a little pricier, but what you'll find, and when I'm a really firm believer, and you don't need 100 products, a few good medical grade products will absolutely change your skin. And so usually start there and just kind of explaining the difference there. And why would you pay more? Because you're going to see results faster and much more heightened results. The results that you can get with medical grade are going to be way more dramatic than anything you could use at the drugstore or the beauty counter. Even if you use it for months and months, a couple months on medical grade skincare can far outdo the
total difference. And I would say, I mean, it's more expensive. I try to explain this to people. It's more expensive up front, but usually the products last longer.
So much longer.
So
yes,
you're not using, like you said, less is more. And so, it might be a serum that's more expensive, but you're not like using like 6 pumps of it, right? So
yeah, that's what a lot of people do, is they get these other products that are so weak. And so they find themselves pumping, using a whole bunch all the time, and nothing's really happening. So they use more. And then what you find with medical grade is like a serum, for example, you're going to use 3 or 4 little drops each day, and your bottle is going to last like 4 or 5 months. So really, when you break it down, your skincare plan or the plans that I put together typically last the patient 4 to 5 months. So you're only purchasing these things like a couple, 2, maybe 3 times a year at the most. And even then, like depending on what all you do, you're alternating with things. You're not using every single product every single night, so that it lasts far longer than you would think. So
for sure, like the pads, which we'll talk about later, but like
yes.
there are certain like acid pads that, I've started using that are great. People look at the price and they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah, you're using 2 a week. And then there's like, what I mean? It lasts literally like 6 months. So
yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's an investment. And if you want to see those changes in your skin, rather than going out and buying 100 random products, just hone in on a couple good quality things, and that's where you want to start. But when it comes to what product to start with, if if people are like, okay, we can always work within your budget, right? And so it's like, what can I start with? And maybe you do need to skimp on a few things and go drugstore brand. And those are the things that I always tell people, like, do with your cleanser and moisturizer. When you want to put your money, where your biggest return investment is going to be in your exfoliating acids. So if you were to start with one medical grade product, and if you really want to start changing your skin, exfoliating acid is the one thing that you need to start with. So those are things like either a retinol, kojic acid, TCA, there's a bunch of different kinds. And I can kind of get into what the different ones do. But basically, when you want to see your skin change, you need to start turning over skin cells. So what happens is as we age, really it actually starts happening in our 20s. The rate at which we turn over skin cells slows and slows. So that's why over time our skin just starts to look more dull. You see more fine lines and wrinkles. Pores might be enlarged, things like that, just the natural aging of the skin. So the best thing you can do is teach your body to speed back up that skin cell turnover. And we do that through exfoliating acids. So what exfoliating acids do is they go on the skin, they tell any dead skin cell on the surface to go ahead and slough off. And that tells your body, regenerate, make new ones. And so you start speeding up that process again. Your skin cells are turning more quickly. And in turn, your skin just starts looking brighter and tighter and more youthful. And so when you're looking at where to start, for a lot of people, the gold standard is retinol. And retinol is a vitamin A derivative. And I always say, you know, if you're 22, 23 and up, really everybody should be on some form of an exfoliating acid. But retinol is just your gold standard. It's going to help with texture. It's going to help with pores, preventing fine lines and wrinkles. It also has some great indications for non-inflamed acne, things like that. Another one that I use commonly in practice is kojic acid. So if you're somebody like me who really wants to work on evening my skin tone out, whether it be from sun damage, melasma, any kind of pigmentation, PIH, which is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, that would be like little dark spots left behind old acne, things like that. Kojic acid is amazing for evening your skin tone. So, you know, that's always where I say to start. Like, let's get you, if you were like, okay, I can buy one product, I'd say, okay, let's get you on one of the pads. And then you could always, and my skimp recommendations for drugstore products, if you're, you know, okay, I can't do the cleanser or the moisturizer right now, what should I do? I always say go with a really safe and basic brand like CeraVe or Cetaphil or Vani Wash. Those you can get at any drugstore. They're less than $12. It's just a very basic, clean, safe cleanser and moisturizer. And that's going to be better to pair with a medical grade acid than anything that has like a lot of fragrance, botanicals, like Neutrogena, stuff like that.
Yeah, the fragrances, at least for me, I have super sensitive skin, so that is a hard no for me. CeraVe is pretty good, and like you said, it's cheap, and especially if you want to travel with it and you can't bring the other stuff, like that's usually what I go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest difference I think hands down for me has been Koji pads and the glow pads, and that combination of those acids, like you said, the not only just like the tightening of the pores and just like your skin in general, but that like evenness.
Yes.
Has been such a game changer. And I barely go in the sun, obviously, but even for me, it's something that like, you know, I am just very like uneven, and my skin is so pale that you see things very easily, you know, and especially like, you know, if you did break out or something, then it like leaves a mark. Like, so the Koji acid, I can guarantee you guys, like that is literally one of my favorite things. And those last so long. So it's so easy. Like literally you mix it up, you use a pad and bam, like.
That's why I'm a huge proponent of the pads for a multitude of reasons. But one, they last forever. And it's a very controlled dosage. So it's not like you can just use too much on accident or whatever. You get one pad per night and you're going to rub it in really good all over, and that's it. And so you know you're getting one nice, even application. And then they do last. So you're going to use them every other night or every third night, or maybe you have a couple pads and you're alternating them. So the pads will typically last you 4+ months. And then the glow pads that you were referring to are definitely I would say probably my number one top selling product, and that's a TCA wipe. So that is a 1 to 2 time per week little skin treatment that you can do from home. And I call it like Botox in a bottle kind of thing, because you just put that pad on, you go to sleep, and when you wake up the next day, your skin is super tight and bright. So that's going to be great for just like long-term anti-aging, but also gives you that really quick fix. So I always have, you know, people use them like the night before an event, or, you know, the night before their wedding or stuff like that. But then also just if you're having those days where your skin is just really dull, maybe you have a lot of breakout going on, stuff like that, the glow pad's awesome. And just a couple of times a week, you get 60 pads in the jar. So ideally those could literally last you almost a year.
Yeah, they're honestly amazing. I love both of those. So we will link all your information at the end, but highly recommend those two for you guys. Now, something that a lot of people are going to ask about, just because a lot of the listeners here, of course, are people who train, pre and post workout skincare, right? So like normally on our podcast, we're talking about like pre and post workout nutrition. Now we're going to be talking about skincare because
post workout skin.
Yeah. And also like just training with makeup and like makeup in general. Where does all this fit in there? So I guess we can hit on makeup first. Like, that's probably like, I know you'd probably say like, no, right? Like ideally no makeup while training, right?
Ideally. Like I always put myself like, you know, the textbook answer is like, no, don't do it. But I also understand I'm a busy mom with 3 kids. And like, if you got to get the workout in and you're not going to have time to do all that, you just got to do what you can do. I wouldn't make it a regular habit. So if that's just like a once in a while thing, you're going to be all right. But if you're somebody who's dealing with like a chronic acne or a chronic skin issue and you're consistently working out in makeup, I would say that's probably contributing to it. So making a lifestyle change. I usually say if you can try to work out like either first thing in the morning or end of day, if that works with your schedule, obviously that's going to be easiest on your skincare routine. But I understand some people need to get it in during the middle of the day. And so for that person, maybe the lifestyle adjustment is just like working in an extra 10 minutes to be able to wipe their makeup off, you know? So I think every once in a while, anything, you know, little bits here and there would be okay. But ideally you want to take the makeup off, just because if you're sweating a whole lot in your makeup, that could absolutely, you could get like bacteria and just, you know, clogging and breakouts and things like that.
Yeah, I have a like a mineral powder that's basically like designed, air quotes, to be able to train in, and it's just really light. So sometimes like today I just put it on. And even though it's very breathable, I'm still always like hyper aware of that. Like, okay, don't train with makeup, especially now, obviously with jujitsu, I can't wear any makeup because you're just like, you're smashing your face on people and like just rub, like it's just awful. So you can't do that there. But for lifting, I trained in makeup for years because it was just like, well, I'm kind of sweating, but like, it's not much of a deal. You know, like if you're just getting like an hour, 2 hour lift in, like it's not that.
Yeah, it totally depends on the type of workout too. Like you said, if you're doing some kind of like high intensity work and you're like pouring sweat, it's going to feel really gross too.
Yes,
but yeah, if you're getting a quick little lift, and I think, you know, it depends on the person's skin too. How sensitive are you? How acne prone are you? Because, you know, depending on how your skin reacts, you might have to alter those things.
So let's say, okay, so no makeup, ideally, before and after training. Like, is there anything that you recommend doing? Is pre really that necessary? I guess besides like taking off your makeup, and then afterwards, definitely. But
I would say save your skincare routine for after your workout. So if you wake up in the morning and you're going to train in the morning, just cleanse your skin with a gentle cleanser. If you're somebody who works out a lot, you want to for sure have a gentle cleanser, because you don't want to wash your face multiple times a day with a scrub or any kind of exfoliating cleanser. You're going to need a gentle cleanser in your arsenal because you're going to be cleansing a little bit more frequently. So you can cleanse in the morning, do your workout, and then you would do your skincare after the workout. Same at night. Like if you're going to do your workout, then do your routine afterwards. So if you're training in the middle of the day, I would still do your routine in the morning. If you can remove the makeup, remove it. And then you're not going to do like a midday routine. Just put your makeup back on, with the exception of one product, which I'll talk about, and then do your skincare routine again in the evening. So just morning and evening. I wouldn't be doing it like multiple times a day.
So say like you're in the morning, right? Like you're going to cleanse and then you work out. Do you cleanse again?
Yeah, you always, after you work out, you always want to do a nice little gentle cleanse. And that's just going to help, you know, rid the skin of any bacteria, debris, sweat, to prevent clogging and your skin just being kind of dirty. So cleansing after a workout is always key, just a nice gentle cleanse. And then one little tip would be, say you're working out at the gym and you don't want to cleanse your skin right away at the gym, you'll do it when you get home. So what you could do is keep something in your gym bag, like a little salicylic product. I love our clarifying pads. I think you like those too, Laura.
Yeah.
So those I would just keep in my gym bag. I kind of have them all over. I always have clarifying pads on me. I always have tons of skincare in my bag. But you would just like, you know, leave the gym, grab one out of your gym bag, or when you leave, I think I have you using those after jiu-jitsu. When you leave the gym, just rub that on all over. That little bit of salicylic is going to prevent clogging. It'll help prevent breakouts until you can get home and cleanse your skin. 100%. Also, a tip for maskne, like if you're wearing a mask around a lot throughout the day, keeping those with you is nice. Just like if you finally get a break from your mask, just like a good wipe with one of those would be helpful.
Yeah, and they're not too, because I have combination skin, so of course it's like oily some spots and dry others. You're like, hey, what are we doing here? But I know for me, sometimes acids can be too drying, but I found that those really aren't too bad, especially if I'm going home and then I'm, you know, cleansing and moisturizing and serum, like the whole deal. But after jujitsu, 100%, like that is in my bag. As soon as I'm done with class, I obviously wash my hands, I like change my shirt, and then I wipe down my face. And then when I do go home, you know, however much later, then I just wash everything and take care of it. But
Yeah.
it's been a
No,
game
that's
changer
a good
because
point. One other thing I was going to say, you're right. They're not super drying. They're nice, like low dose salicylic. So pretty much all skin types can tolerate those. But the other thing with working out a lot is hydration is key. Hydration. Can't stress it enough, especially for people who are heavy into the fitness world, you know, working out all the time. Perspiration, sweating is dehydrating the skin. So if you're sweating a lot, your skin is bound to be a little bit more dry. And so a lot of people, and then also I see this a lot where people who work out a lot also do sometimes deal with acne a little bit more just from the sweating and all that stuff. And then those same people are like, oh, I have acne, I don't want to hydrate too much, you know, and it's actually the opposite. You know, your skin will break out even more if you're not hydrated enough. So hydration is really key, especially from all of my workout people. And I think one of the best hydrators is a nice hyaluronic serum for somebody who works out a lot, because it's hyaluronic acid is a hydrator and it kind of sucks into the skin like a big drink of water. It's a nice little water. It feels kind of like a watery serum, but you just need a few drops and you kind of either tap or rub it in, and it just really sucks into your skin and it's hydrating your skin from like the deepest layers. So it doesn't just sit on your skin like a heavier moisturizer. So especially for somebody who works out a lot or is more acne prone, that kind of moisturizing serum will be an awesome add.
yeah, I love that. There is a big difference of, again, like kind of what we talked about, like the medical grade products versus not. And one of those differences is I've always found that like any type of moisturizer or serum, a lot of them will just kind of like sit, and then you feel like, oh, like this is gross or this is too thick or whatever it might be. But the good ones really do go like right into your skin, and you don't have those same issues, especially with acne prone people. And that was kind of the next part that I wanted to go to was maskne.
Yeah.
So I know you made a really great story series the other day on this, but let's just touch on it a little bit, because obviously a lot of people are wearing masks. Like you, for example, are wearing them like all day at work. And some people, I mean, obviously if you are in a situation in the medical field, you're most likely wearing them. Some gyms have them mandated, other gyms don't, but you know, so people are wearing them a lot more, and they're either just in them for hours or they're sweating in them, like whatever it might be. So what are some of the ways to help prevent that?
Yeah, this is a super hot topic, obviously, right now with, you know, everyone wearing masks and just seeing so much maskne. And I have a lot of it going on right now too. I just have it kind of covered up, but we call it maskne. And what it is, it's mechanical acne mechanica. And that is a different kind of acne. It's not your same typical like hormonal acne or acne caused from, you know, bacteria, but it's actually a mechanical friction. So when the mask is on, and especially when it's in that kind of same spot, just ever so softly rubbing all day, it's actually that friction mixed with the humidity behind the mask that causes the breakout. So it's a different kind of acne, and it's a really deep kind of persistent acne. It can take a long time to go away. So what I was explaining on Instagram the other day is that as long as you're wearing a mask consistently, like for me, when I go to work, I'm wearing an N95 for almost 10 hours. As long as I keep doing that, I'm going to keep getting the maskne. There's no magical product you can use that's just going to stop it from occurring. But the goal with the skincare is to help it go away more quickly. And also you can help prevent some of it too, just from being as bad or as exacerbated. So the best thing you can do, a couple things would be, my first tip would be, try not to wear makeup under your mask at all. So when I go to work, my mask doesn't really come off. So I'll put like eye makeup on just so I feel and look a little done, but I don't put any makeup under my mask because, you know, that makeup is just going to sit there and it gets humid and it's going to get pushed in the pore and just cause a massive breakout and just make it so much worse. So that's first and foremost. Now, I know there's times when I'm going to an event. Obviously, if you have some makeup on and then the mask is kind of coming off and on, that's going to be a little bit different. You know, you're just going to have to do the best you can. Just give your skin as many breathers as you can. But for the most part, if you can avoid makeup under it, that would be my biggest suggestion. Next thing you want to do is wear a barrier under the mask, so a barrier cream. So I have one that I love, and it's called Calming Cream. It's just like a nice little light moisturizer with hydrocortisone and aloe vera. If you don't have if you can't get your hands on that, which I have that on my site, the next best option would be 100% petroleum jelly from the drugstore. And just straight petroleum. And what you would do is just put a really thin layer. And now this is for my people that are wearing masks like long periods of time, healthcare providers, teachers, anybody who's going to be in masks like for several hours straight. A nice thin layer of a calming cream or a petroleum jelly on the skin before you put your mask on. Just kind of let it dry a little bit. You don't have to goop it on, just a tiny little bit.
Just imagining people like loading up.
Just a little bit. And that serves as a barrier for your skin against that friction and the mechanical breakdown. So you should get a lot less breakdown, a lot less acne if you're putting a barrier on. And then if you do, start getting the acne, then we want to start treating it. So I usually put people on like a nice low dose retinol that they can use at night. Retinol is going to help purge that acne up and out of the skin. And then hydration. Again, hydration is going to be key for this. So the best one would be, again, a hydrating serum, especially in the morning. That would be a good step to do before your barrier cream. Hydrating serum, barrier cream, mask. And then, just kind of do the best you can with treating it at night. That's where it's nice to look at people's skin, because based on how it's looking, I'll put them on retinol. I might use like a sulfur, which is like an antibacterial, just depending on how severe it is. But the best thing you can do is try to prevent and then try to stay on top of it with your treatments. For people working out a lot, I would try your best try to work out without a mask on when at all possible. That's the given. But if you have to sweat in your mask, you want to, first of all, like get it off as fast as you can after your workout, and then gentle cleanse your skin. And then the biggest thing I'm seeing is people are forgetting to change or wash their masks. So especially if you're sweating in your mask, like, you have to wash it right away. I would not wear it again because there's bacteria, there's sweat. I mean, that's just going to clog you right back up.
Yeah. Just in general, you're also like, there's bacteria on it. Like if you just have it around, like, and
just have all your hot breath on it all day. And then
like putting it down and just, not the best idea.
I personally am a huge fan of just using the medical masks. Like I don't even really have the cloth ones just because I wear an N95 at work. And those seem to be the most clean in my opinion when at all possible, because you just throw them away. Like if you can get a box of the cheap like medical surgical masks, wear one while you work out and just toss it. I mean, I know they're not the prettiest, but they seem the cleanest to me.
Yeah, just whatever you do, just throw it away if it's disposable, please. Oh my God. And the amount of masks I see on the floor, and I'm just like, you guys are so like, God. But actually that makes so much sense with the mechanical acne, because that is what I was dealing with a lot when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, because my skin was not used to like the friction, like literally you described that. And I was like, it was a type of acne I'd never had. And people were like, oh, like you need to wash your face more. I'm like, I'm washing my face. Like, this is not that, you know what I mean? No, that makes so much more sense. I thought it was just the sweating, but it really is like the mechanical kind of part. Now,
after rubbing and rolling on the mats and stuff, for sure. Yeah.
So we had a few questions about pregnancy safe skincare products. I know that obviously not all of them would be safe. So what are some things that you can continue to use, and what are some things that you should discontinue to use if you're trying to get pregnant or you are pregnant?
Yeah, that's always a hot topic. The thing with pregnancy and everything aesthetics, whether it be skincare, Botox, or filler, is even though some of the stuff I personally think would be totally fine, as a professional, we can't recommend or really like allow you to do it because it's never been tested. So in the cosmetic world, we don't test Botox or some of these medical grade acids on pregnant or nursing women. Therefore, we don't have those FDA approved trials to say, yeah, go for it, it's safe. So just to play it safe, we hold off on a lot of things during pregnancy. Nursing can be a little bit different. Nursing, if your OBGYN's okay with it, and if we kind of talk through some things, you can use, that does open the doors to use a little bit more products than you could do even while pregnant. But for some people, I always say, like, if you're nervous at all and you for sure just want it to be like 100% pregnancy safe, I usually like to just give you like a nice pregnancy safe routine. The good thing is, even if you're using 100% pregnancy safe routine, most of it carries over into your post-pregnancy routine. It's just that the exfoliating acid, like the retinol and stuff like that we were talking about, that's what we have to pull while you're pregnant. So retinol is a no-no while pregnant. And so then what we do is we replace that step with a pregnancy safe exfoliating acid. So I like to use one called Lytic Light, and it's less than 2% salicylic. So it's deemed pregnancy safe. It even says pregnancy safe on the bottle. So that makes people feel better because that actually has been tested. So we'll use something like that. So it's a low dose exfoliating acid. So it's going to be a lot more gentle, not as active. So it's going to take a little longer to see results. It's not going to be as dramatic as being able to use some of the other stuff, but you absolutely still want to be doing that while pregnant. You want to do the best that you can. And so using that's going to for sure be better than using nothing. But you can still, the most important thing while you're pregnant is just to have a nice, well-rounded routine. So we'll get you on a gentle cleanser. We'll use an exfoliating scrub. We'll have you using the scrub a little more often than you would if you were using some other products to kind of replace some of that other exfoliation you're needing. We'll do like a nice serum, hydrating serum. Vitamin C is totally safe. Pregnancy safe exfoliating acid, and then just like a great moisturizer. So just like a nice little foundation while you're pregnant. And as always, just consistency is key. A lot of times with pregnancy, your body's going through hormonal changes. So your skin's going to change. Sometimes it's more dry than usual. Sometimes you get these hormonal surges and you get breakouts. And the key is just to kind of stick with your plan. A lot of people, they get a breakout and I'm going to switch everything up and try something new. And it's like, just keep doing what you're doing. Let your body make these changes and just keep doing the best that you can. And, but there's times when we kind of check in and we can add and tweak things. So definitely there's great options nowadays for pregnancy. It used to be back in the day, you just use soap. There's nothing, but now we have amazing pregnancy safe options.
So use some shampoo, it's fine.
Yeah.
So another question that comes up a lot, and something just in general that I'm hyper aware of, is sun damage and sunspots. So obviously I live in Florida, you wouldn't know, but I do live in Florida where the sun is out a lot. And just in general, sunspots, sun damage, and just that of course will contribute to aging. So what are some of the products that we can use to either help that and or prevent it? And I know that obviously you're a big proponent of sunscreen, which I've gotten into so much. It's crazy. Even though I didn't, again, go outside as much, in my, teenage and younger years, I did. And now I've become a vampire. But before that, I was in the sun a bunch, and you just don't even think about it. You're just whatever, I'll just lay out for 6 hours.
Totally. Yeah.
So, luckily I don't have too
regret from all of my tanning bed days. So much regret.
Thankfully, I never did that. I actually still have. It's a lot lighter now, but I had such a bad burn on my lips one time that it blistered, and I have a freckle there now. People always there's something on your lip. I'm like, there's not. It's a freckle. It's permanent.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to look at it. We could IPL that.
Yeah, it's gotten less, but yeah, maybe next time. It's so frustrating. They're I'm like, there's nothing there. Stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sun damage, some spots, what are some things to do with that? And then also just preventing those?
Yes. So that's a huge one. Obviously, first and foremost is SPF. So the SPF is just such a habit. You have to just train yourself to use it every day. And that's why I like to use one that's just like a daily moisturizer with SPF in it. So it's not you don't feel like you're putting sunscreen on. You're just putting on a daily moisturizer, and it's got that SPF in it. I love the Elsa brand. It's a dermatologic sunscreen. They have tinted and non-tinted, and I honestly love the tint because I'll just throw that on. It's a universal color. It looks great on the palest of pale and darkest of dark. So even my African-American clients, and then people like my sister who are so pale, they both love it. And it's just gives you just a little bit of color. But anyways, SPF is good. And people don't realize that even if you're not out in direct sunlight, if you're just driving in your car, you are getting sun damage through the car window. And so over time, and I noticed this just from being in my field, but the left side of the face usually has more sun damage because of just all the years of driving. And I saw a really cool article in a dermatology magazine one time, and they showed an older man. He had been a truck driver for 28 years, and the two sides of his face, it looked fake. The left side was so wrinkled and aged, and the other side was much more preserved from just driving that truck for 28 years.
Oh my God.
So that always stuck with me because I'm like, wow. So just your SPF is super important in your daily routine for protecting against sun damage. But things you would do. So if you already have acquired the sun damage and you want to reverse, you can. That's the good news. I spent so many years doing the tanning bed when I was in high school and even in college. I just didn't know better. I didn't know that it wasn't good until I look at pictures now. I'm like, why did I think that looked good to look that orange? Please, why did no one tell me? And I asked my friends that, and they said, because we were all that orange. We all were the same color. So anyways, but now what you want to do is just start working on it, because you can absolutely reverse sun damage. So we were talking earlier. So kojic acid is amazing for evening out pigmentation. Phytic, lactic, azelaic, those acids are great too. So there's different products you can use. I love my pads. So I do the Koji pads, and then we have another pad called Glow Bright pads, and those have that azelaic and lactic acid in them. You could even alternate the two. So what I do is I look at someone's skin and see like how severe is the sun damage and how sensitive is your skin. And sometimes we just have to ease you in. But if you've got like severe sun damage and bad melasma, I have you using the Koji pads like twice a day, every day for like 3 months, just to really like zap it. And some of the pictures I could show you look insane. Like it looks like they had a laser treatment done or something in office, but it's just really good skincare. So it can be reversed through topicals. And then sometimes we do need to bring in the big guns, and we'll do like chemical peels, which can really help reduce pigmentation. IPL, which I was just mentioning, it stands for intense pulse light, or you may have heard BBL. That's a photofacial. So it's a laser that can travel through the skin, pick up on sun damage, pull it up and out of the skin, and then it flakes off over the course of a week. It's non-ablative, so it doesn't peel your skin, but it stimulates collagen. It promotes just healthy skin cells, and in addition to erasing your sun damage. So that is definitely the gold standard when it comes to lasers for reducing hyperpigmentation or sun damage. So sometimes it's a multifaceted approach, but that's where it just comes down to the individual person, like what's your budget? How much can we do? How much do we want to throw at it? And we just start slowly chipping away at it, and then just dedicate. What I do find too is once you make the investment in your skin, whether it's just through topicals or you go through the laser and whatever, after that, once your skin is clear, you just naturally become so much more hyper aware. Kind of like you were saying, Lauren, like you just protect your skin more. So you'll find yourself just like wearing SPF more. You'll wear those big hats and sunglasses when you are at the pool or at the zoo with your kids or whatever. You just kind of you want to protect your investment. So
it's so easy. I mean, I just literally keep the sunblock with the Elta next to my moisturizer, next to my cleanser, and it doesn't feel like you're putting on sunblock, because that's the worst. Like whenever people are like, oh, make sure you wear sunblock, I'm like, ugh, gross. Like no one wants to put on sunblock. Like when you're going outside, like sure, for a long period of time, but this is so nice. It's so thin, and like you said, the tinted one is amazing. Like I absolutely love it. That also lasts a very long time. It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
So
and you want to have zinc oxide in your SPF. Zinc oxide is going to help also just like reflect the sun off of your face. So that's something to look for if you're looking on an ingredient list. And then also just finding the right SPF for you. So like within that Elta MD line, there's several different kinds based on your skin type. So whether you're more oily or more dry, or if you have sensitive skin, I can help point you in the right direction of which one would be better for you. I actually have made like a little chart of that on my site, on my blog before.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we kind of touched on it before, breakouts. So the one thing that you talked about that I thought was really important that I actually didn't know either was the hydration thing. And, obviously not just, water hydration, but also making sure that you are using moisturizers and serums and stuff like that, which is very counterintuitive. People think like, oh, I'm breaking out, I need to dry my skin out, when, you might need to dry like pimples out and breakout. But not necessarily everywhere else. So I think that's a really, really like important tip people can take from this. Anything else you want to finish this one on, like any kind of skincare stuff that you feel like we didn't touch?
Just, getting a well-rounded regimen. Just some people, what I find is they're using stuff, but they're either using like too much of one thing, like they're just exfoliating the crap out of their skin with scrubs and retinols and all these things, but they're not hydrating at all. If you're using a lot of exfoliants, keep your cleanser gentle. Make sure you're hydrating if you're using exfoliants, just a nice well-rounded plan, and just kind of start slow. And really, if you just started with the foundational things, gentle cleanser, SPF, exfoliating acid, moisturizer, start there and then just kind of build as you go. And then you'll find once you get good at that, you're like, okay, now I'm going to add in a vitamin C. You don't have to come out of the gates with like everything and overwhelm yourself. You can just a couple little things slowly over time. And it's a process. And I always say, trust the process. You're not going to see your skin transform in a week or 2 weeks. I mean, I will say with medical grade products, I hear it all the time that even after a couple applications, people will be like, oh my gosh, I can tell a difference. Something's happening. You can feel them working, but to the pictures that you posted, that I post a lot of before and afters, are people who've been doing it for like 2 or 3 months, you know, so you just have to keep going, be consistent. If you get all the great products, but you're only using them once or twice a week, like at all, then you're not going to get the results as quickly. So staying consistent, sticking with the plan, and then that's just half the battle. And it'll just kind of slowly happen over time. People always look back at their pictures and then you're kind of like shocked because it's a slow change. And then you just realize one day like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my skin used to look like that, you know? So
I know. And it really does. I mean, it makes a huge difference just in how you present yourself and your confidence. And it's just like working on your physique, you know, like once you got to a place where you're comfortable with your body, you're comfortable with like what you eat and how you train and all this, like this is just another piece in my opinion. And it really does create that confidence. Like whether you want to wear makeup or not, it's still amazing. So you mentioned it a few times, but how do people reach you for the consulting that you do virtually?
If you can find my Instagram, it's Racquel Frisella, or my website is racquelfrisella.com. And on my website, if you go to the skincare section, there is a form you can fill out. You can't miss it. It's right on the homepage, and it just says if you want a complimentary skin consult, click here, and then it'll ask you some questions. You'll shoot me some photos, and that's just kind of our starting point. We just kind of take it from there. And it is complimentary. I'll just kind of look at your skin, give you recommendations top to bottom. And I always tell people, don't get overwhelmed. I give you all of the recommendations, everything from face wash to eye cream. But again, like I was saying, I just want you to have all of those options and have that list to refer back to for when you're ready. But I'll absolutely help you, with what are the priority products to start with.
Yeah, I cannot recommend it enough, you guys. So if you have any other questions or you want to get started, go to her website and stay tuned for our next episode because it's going to be all about injectables, which I get so many questions about too. And there's so much bad information on those. So I'm very excited for that one. So thank you so much, Racquel, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.